Hello, sports fans. Welcome to another episode of Falcons franchise. So, as you can tell, obviously, right now we are finished with our first season. So now this is going to be sort of like an off-season preview, and some free agents I might target. Some mainly scouting for the draft. You guys can get to know my prospects a little bit better and who I'm considering drafting, and all that stuff. So I guess we'll start off by going through some of the college players that I'm interested in. We'll go through my draft board and the top few at each position. I hope to make this video not super long, but I mean, I don't want it to make it like 2 seconds, so we'll go through them and not and spend like 5 minutes on each one, but at a decent speed. So my number one target, Will Donaldson. I talk about him every time. 95% scouted. We know a lot about him. He is 6'1", 225, 23 years old. Out of Princeton, he is an improviser. Not the most accurate, but good. Throw under pressure is also good. He's a pretty good athlete. And then skill-wise, I mean, he just seems like the perfect quarterback for me. Because I like to get outside of the pocket. He's good on the run and under pressure. The only thing that concerns me is his stamina, but I think it should be okay. And I mean, he's also a somewhat mobile quarterback, as you see C carrying. So Donaldson is my number one target. Eric Hart, he is a right tackle. I haven't really talked much about him. He is 6'4", 312 pounds, out of Arizona State. He has good discipline and won't get flagged much, which is good to see. C run block, A to C pass block, A to C impact block, A awareness. We don't know a ton about him, but he is a good athlete, especially for the offensive line. And now, I'm going to say he definitely has potential, but we don't know a ton about him. Like, if A impact blocking, A pass block, and A run block, A stamina, B run block power all comes true, he could be one of the best players in the class, but we don't know that about him yet. So, later in the offseason, I will definitely be using one of our, I don't remember what they're called, but it's like a focus player on him. Ryan Calhoun, a left tackle. So he seems like he's a good player. He is probably one of the better left tackles. He is 6'4", 319 out of Tennessee. He has A impact block and awareness, B pass block, B to C run block. He is a okay athlete for the offensive line, pretty good. And now we know a lot more about him. He seems like he's going to be pretty good because, I mean, B to C run block and B to C run block, pass block power is the only things we don't know. He seems like he could be pretty good. I mean, he doesn't seem like amazing, but he seems good. Marquise Farley is another left tackle, also a 6'4". He 316 out of Florida. B pass block, B to C run block, also shows good discipline. A awareness and impact blocking. And another pretty good athlete for the offensive line. Now for him, he seems like he could be better than Ryan Calhoun, because you already see B pass block, B to C run block. He just seems a little bit better across the board. And I mean, A to C pass block finesse. It definitely seems like he is pretty good. In fact, I'm going to reorder this a little bit. There we go. Caleb Bryan is a left guard. Obviously, we've kind of had a platoon between Elijah Wilkinson and Jalen Mayfield, so looking for our consistent left guard. So we've got Caleb Bryan. We don't know a ton about him. B pass block, B to D run block, A impact blocking, A to C awareness. He has great strength, which is good to see for an offensive lineman. Don't know a ton about him. He seems like he's got some potential, especially if all those are as high as they could be. Doesn't seem amazing. I don't really think he's a round 1 to 2 guy. He seems a little bit lower down the board, maybe around 2 to 3. But he seems okay. He's definitely going to stay on my draft board for now. And Manning out of Alabama, another left guard. So B run block and pass block. A to C impact block, B to D awareness. Also shows good discipline. So he seems good. The only thing, decent solid speed. With the guard, you look for that to be a little bit higher, as you usually pull them for certain runs. Now, we don't know a ton about him yet. He is definitely more of a finesse blocker. But he seems okay. No, don't know a ton about him, but he definitely seems like he's got some potential. Jamie Lowry, another left guard. He out of Oregon, 55% scouted. Again, shows good discipline. B pass block, A to C run block. And he's an okay athlete for the offensive line. Pretty good, but not amazing. Obviously, we'll know more about him once we get through the combine. We'll know player speed, strength, to like a lot more because of how they've performed at the Combine and Pro Day. But obviously that's not till the offseason. But he seems pretty good. Then Edward Otten, a center. So now he's not going to stay at center because we have Matt Hennessy. Now he does lack discipline, which is not necessarily something you want to see. But he's got B run block, A to C pass block, A to C impact block, A awareness. And he's also a solid athlete for the offensive line. Nothing impressive. He seems okay. But I mean, he seems like he could be good, especially if we were to move him to guard. And now I just see Sean Edmonds down here. He is a guy. He's probably the second player I'm really interested in. So now he is B to C run block, B pass block, A impact block and awareness. 6'4". No, sorry, this is Ryan Calhoun. I clicked on Sean Edmonds. There we go. So he's got B pass block and run block, A awareness, A to B impact blocking. He is 6'7" at 333 out of Michigan State. So it's good discipline. Also pretty strong, and a okay athlete for the offensive line as well. And he seems like, I just feel like he's probably going to be one of the best tackles in the class. And so right now I'm thinking I'm definitely going to pick Will Donaldson. I'm definitely going to take Sean Edmonds, but those are the only two I definitely think I'm going to pick. Now Tony Freeman, let's get back to where we were down at 10 on the draft board. He shows good discipline, won't get flagged much. Right guard. We also don't know much about him, but he seems like he could be a pretty good player for us. As you see, his ratings there, a lot of ranges, but I mean, a lot of potential there if all those are A's and B's. Then we've got Cody Cohen, a right tackle pass protector, 6'6" out of UCF, almost A's across the board. He seems pretty good, shows good discipline as well. Now the problem with him is the poor to marginal strength. He is such a good player, except the strength that comes into play. Because I mean, you look at it, it seems really good. Pass block, unbelievable. Run block, really good. And then A to B injury, also something good to see. B lead block, D to F stamina. I mean, he's an offensive lineman, doesn't need a ton of stamina. The only thing about Cody Cohen is the strength. Marcel Jordan, a run-stopping defensive end, so he would fit our scheme perfectly, as we currently go 4-3 defensive end. He's a power guy, run-stopper, lacks discipline and avoiding penalties, which is not necessarily something you want to see. Horrible finesse moves at F, but A tackle. Great to elite strength, not very fast, but I mean, he's not the guy that's going to run around you. He's more of a guy that's just going to run through you. He seems okay. Not necessarily amazing. I'm not sure I'm going to take him. As we do have Marlon Davidson. I know he does have star development, but he hasn't necessarily shown a ton for us. So I'm going to move Marcel Jordan down a little bit further. Now, Cedric Purnell is a safety we know. He's the only player I think we know everything. No, this is Marcel Jordan. Why does it do that? I'm on Cedric Purnell, and it puts me to Marcel Jordan. Okay. But we know 100% scouted, round 1 talent, 1-2 projection. He has B hit power and man coverage, C tackle and zone. Is a strong safety, so could be our replacement for Dean Marlowe. He is a pretty good athlete. Good to great speed is good enough for a safety, I would say. A injuries, stamina, catching, so he could even be pretty good. Obviously, you see a lot of B's there. Block, shedding awareness, kick return, man coverage, play rec, hit power, and then C tackle, pursuit, and zone. So he seems like he could be pretty good. He's definitely someone I have my eye on. Tyrell Simpson is another safety that I think could be good. We could also move him over to strong safety with his size at 6'2", 220. He has B hit power, A to C man, A to C tackle, C to F zone. So not the greatest zone guy. But with A to C man, we might be looking to move him to a sort of like a safety nickelback type role. Not the strongest guy, pretty good speed, okay athlete, not great acceleration though. He seems like a lot of ranges there. We don't know a ton about him, but he seems like, once again, he's got a lot of potential. And then just talk about Marcel Jordan, and then these 3 wide receivers. I know they're really late in the draft, but now, receiver, I'm looking for someone who can just stretch the field, take the top off the defense. So I went through looking for a few guys who have blazing speed, and obviously we'll learn their 40 times and stuff like that. But you see Teddy Weldon, a deep threat out of Oregon, 5'11", 179. So he lacks discipline, but I mean, he is really, I was just looking for people with great to elite speed and adding them to my draft board, and then I'd go through and look at them. So now, there's not very many fast receivers. A lot of these guys, good to great, solid to good, a decent solid, stuff like that. Not very fast wide receivers. You see him, we don't know a ton about him, but I mean, he is very fast, B deep route running, BDD catching. I mean, obviously, hopefully that's high catching. But I mean, if he could just take the top off the defense, and if we're going to draft a strong quarterback in Will Donaldson who's got great throw power, and he could just chuck it deep to a receiver with blazing speed, that could definitely help open up our offense a little bit. Kari Davidson out of UCLA. He is C deep route running, BDD catching. He also great to elite speed and acceleration, not a great athlete otherwise. We don't know a ton about him. Good blocker, A to C run block for a wide receiver, that's not bad. So now, he also seems okay. Doesn't seem amazing. Obviously, these guys are day 3 guys. They don't seem amazing. And then Brandon Curley, he is out of South Dakota, an FCS school. I mean, but that really doesn't say much because a probable franchise quarterback, Will Donaldson, is going to be out of an FCS school in Princeton. So now, he also, tremendous speed. Not the greatest athlete, but good. Better than the previous dude. We know 75% about him. Or 75% scouted. ADB stamina, which is good. He's not necessarily amazing after the catch, but I mean, the speed is something that I have my eye on. So now, obviously, we know quarterback, so I'm not going to go into depth on all the quarterbacks again. Running back, so we have Tyler Algier. Oh, I'm still in favorites. Sorry. Running backs. So now, I'm looking for either receiver, like a slot playmaker type receiver, or a receiving back that can do sort of like the Cordero Patterson role, because I just feel like, I don't know, Cordero Patterson, he's good, but he's not necessarily the runner I would like him to be, and he's also, I just feel he's not very explosive, so I'd like an explosive receiving back that could maybe play the slot for us as well. As we see Nick Upshaw, the best running back out there in the draft, he's got A to C catching, so definitely could be a player like that. Not the fastest guy, which, I mean, that would make him explosive, but see a lot of ranges here. But, I mean, when you look at him with what he can do with the ball in his hands, that's also someone I want dangerous with the ball in their hands. He's got C spin move, A to C stiff arm, B trucking, B break tackle, D juke move. Not amazing, but okay. And then you've got Ty Williams. He's more of an elusive back. As currently, Tyler Algier, I think, is going to stick to being our main back. So these running backs, round 1 to 2, I'm probably not going to consider taking. Probably someone more like day 3. But we'll take a look at Ty Williams, just in case any of these guys look unbelievable and you don't want to pass up the opportunity. We'll take a look just in case. He seems like a pretty good athlete. Not the strongest guy. What was his speed? His speed is good to great, so okay. Obviously, I'd like someone who goes really fast, but I mean, that could work. A lot of ranges for him, only 50% scouted, but he seems pretty good. And now I'm going to look for receiving back, so if it's a power back, I mean, we could use someone like that, but Tyler Algier is not the worst power back. Laren Hooks, out of Penn State, very small, 5'8", 189. Also the size of a slot receiver. There he is, a receiving back. He's got C carrying, A to C catching, A to C break tackle. He has good to great speed, great to lead acceleration, pretty good athlete aside from strength. Skill-wise, he seems pretty good. A to C catching traffic, A to C catching, A to C short route, BD spectacular catch, BD stamina, B stiff arm, B juke move. He seems like he could be pretty good. I might consider taking him a little bit later in the draft. I mean, also, he could definitely be that. He's got the size of a slot receiver. I'm going to actually add him to my draft board just because he looks pretty good. Now, I'm going to go through and looking for like smaller guys like Hooks and receiving backs. So like someone like Cedric Clement out of Texas A&M. He's smaller, but he's a power back, so obviously not going to be the greatest catcher. As you see catching over on the right side, B to D, which isn't amazing, isn't horrible. But Keith Duvall out of Colorado, let's take a look at him. He's got A to C catching, B to D carrying, B break tackle. He's not the fastest guy, not a very good athlete, okay athlete. Obviously, you like guys that are pretty athletic. He seems a lot of ranges there, but he seems like he's got potential. Now I'm just going to go through looking for receiving backs with someone like Dylan Davidson out of Navy, round 3 to 4 guy. That's the perfect range later in the draft. ADC catching, BDD carrying, BDD break tackle, C-ball carrier vision. Not fast, which is not necessarily something that is amazing. F juke move, B spin move, D stiff arm. How would a running back have these traits? I mean, I guess maybe he's like just a receiving back, but he doesn't seem amazing, so I'm not going to add him to my board. Got 2 power backs in a row. Then we've got Chris McQueen out of Texas, 5'9", 204. Another guy of size of slot receiver. ADC catching as well. D carrying, not very fast, so that makes me not want to take him. I mean, obviously, I'm not saying just because we take a look at these guys, I'm going to take them. They're just guys with potential that we're going to take a look at. Who knows? Maybe they're an elite running back down the board. Ed Knight, he's 6 foot, so a little bit bigger. He is a receiving back, though. A to C catching, and then C's the rest. But not very fast. Decent to solid. Obviously, you like a running back who's pretty fast. Not a great athlete for him, as he seems okay. Then, Lindsey Fitzpatrick, 5'9", 186 out of LSU. He's 50% scouted. BDD catching, A to C break tackle. His player notes shows good ball security at times, but needs to improve in that area. So that's okay. Not very fast, not a good athlete. Fitzpatrick, he seems okay, not necessarily amazing. So I'm going to look for guys that obviously have a lot of speed. Receiving backs, someone like Joel Richardson. ADC catching, 5'9", 206 out of USC. Really slow, so horrible athlete there. So we'll not be taking a look at him. Obviously undrafted free agent there. But I mean, just if we can get a few names in our head, maybe guys to look for as undrafted guys that we might want to go sign to our practice squad. Maybe even play in the preseason a little bit. We've got Greg Bennett, 5'10", 202 out of UCLA. BDD catching, not a good athlete. But he has been skyrocketing up the draft board as he's gone up 56 spots. And our last running back will be, let's find a good one. Alright, we'll go Stephen Brown. I'm just looking for receiving backs. I mean, I know elusive backs are usually pretty good receivers, but I like someone who's going to be strictly a wide receiver. Not strictly a wide receiver. They'll see, like the Cordell Patterson rule. Not a ton of carries, but they'll get some, maybe 3 carries a game. Like to get them someone who's explosive. Like 5 to 10 touches a game, but they can maybe hit a home run with one of them a game. Something like that. Receivers, it's not a very good receiver class in my opinion. Because you've only got one round 1 guy. You've got several round 1 to 2 guys, but I mean, they just don't seem to be amazing. They're all either slow or just not that good. Like Lance Terrell, he seems pretty good as a playmaker, which is the type we need. ADC release, ADC deep route, D catching traffic. So, you know, he is slow. So receivers, we do need a wide receiver, but I don't really think we're going to be able to find it in this draft class. We might have to go find that via free agency. Tight ends, we could use some depth at that position. But I mean, it's not our biggest concern because we have Kyle Pitts, also not a very good tight end class. One round 1 guy, then round 2 to 3, and the rest day 3 guys. But we'll take a look at Mark Dell out of Texas. He has B run block, B deep route running, A catching, A to C catching traffic. Shows good discipline, won't get flagged much. Only 6'2". He's got great speed for a tight end. He's more of like he's more of not even a big wide receiver. He seems okay, not necessarily the greatest pass catcher. As you see, not the greatest route runner, I should say. He's good catching, good blocker. Maybe he's 6'2", 237 out of Texas. I'm going to add him to my draft board, and now maybe he gets moved to wide receiver for us, as he's got great speed as well. But, I mean, it is relative to the position. So, a great to elite speed lineman is not going to be the same as a running back or a receiver. But, tight end, I'm not really that worried about. But we'll add him to our draft board, and that's it. Left tackle, we've taken a look at several times. Jeremiah Dickerson, never actually seen this guy. He's falling down draft boards. Minus 91, doesn't even look good. A C run block, BDD impact block, D pass block. Doesn't even seem all that great. So yeah, we're not going to take a look at him. There's a few other guys that I haven't seen. Like Jeremiah Dickerson was an example there. And then I'm not going to go super in depth on these guys. Obviously, I've taken a look at them before. Then guards. Caleb Bryan, he's on our draft board. Anton Manning, Jamie Lowry, all on our draft boards. We'll take a look at Wendy Daly out of Ohio State at a guard, and then we'll move on to that. We'll move on from guards. He shows good discipline. Not a very good pass blocker at D. BDD run block. He's 50% scouted. He seems okay, not necessarily amazing. Seems like he'll be okay. I don't really think he's all that great. Then centers. Obviously, we already know about Edward Otten. We'll take a look at Jason Williams and Matt Weber for today. He lacks discipline, which is already not good to see, but A run block, B pass block, that is very intriguing. Now, good to great speed, not very strong. That's the only thing about Jason Williams. I feel like whenever you see someone who's like, oh wow, that's good, there's always something wrong. But he seems pretty good. He seems like he could be good. In fact, we'll add him to our draft board again. Maybe we'll move one of these centers to guard. And Matt Weber. Ranges, don't know a ton about him. But seems like he could be okay based off those first 4 traits. Or abilities, attributes, whatever they want to call him. But he seems okay. Not necessarily amazing. Right guard, obviously we've seen some of these guys already. Tony Freeman, we've talked about before. Well, Michael Walls will be the guy we take a look at right now. I'm not going to go super far down the board. Obviously, he's already day 3. C run block and pass block. He's 6'6", 341. So a bigger guard. Seems okay. Decent athlete. Not amazing, though. He seems okay. Nothing amazing. Talked about right tackles already. Defensive line isn't the biggest need aside from defensive tackle. So we will take a look at Leo Rayford out of UCF. He's 65% scouted. He's 6'4", 308. He's a power rusher. Lacks discipline. But he's got B tackle, B power moves, and B finesse moves. That is very interesting. So he could be a pretty good guy who can mix up his moves. Also, pretty good athlete for the defensive tackle position. He's not huge, which is... We do want somebody who's pretty big, as he's only 308 pounds. So a little bit light for the defensive tackle position. But with some of those good traits, finesse moves, power moves, tackling, that seems pretty good. Steinmeier also small. A lot of these guys, smaller defensive tackles. We don't get to a pretty big one until Eric Hendricks. That name actually already exists as a Vikings linebacker. But he is a run-stopping nose tackle, or defensive tackle. Would probably play the nose tackle position. Now, he's a fit for us as UC top fits Browns, Vikings, and us. Great to elite strength. He seems like he could be okay. Not necessarily a great athlete, but he seems like he could be actually pretty good. And then obviously, I'm not going to look at these super white guys. It's like, I'm not interested in a speed rusher at the defensive tackle position. Just not really interested. More of like a power rusher or a run stopper. But I mean, really not a lot of those this draft class. Then outside linebacker is where it gets interesting. Because you've got Adonis Parnell, Luke Johnson, both top 5 in projection. 80% we know about Adonis Parnell. He started off as the top player in the class. Went down a little bit. He is A tackle, C to D zone coverage, C to D pursuit, B block shedding. And now he is a pretty good athlete, not amazing but not awful. B play recognition, B to C finesse moves, A B power moves. So obviously, hopefully they're both good if we end up taking him. And then Luke Johnson out of Oklahoma. He is a power rusher, 6'5", 266, so bigger. He is B tackle, C to F zone, A pursuit, A to C block shedding. Not very fast, but he's more of a stronger type of guy. Seems okay. Or pretty good, actually. A lot of ranges for him, don't know a ton about him. So now middle linebacker, we don't really need. We have Deion Jones and Troy Anderson, who will be our 2 middle linebackers moving forward, hopefully. But we could definitely use someone for a depth piece like later down the board. Actually, no day 3 guys here. So we'll take a look at these round 3 of 4 guys, as we see pass coverage and field general on them. But I mean, it's not the biggest need for us, so we'll just look for depth here. Maybe we end up picking somebody. Maybe we don't. We've got Joe Swede out of Oregon, 5'11", 227. A zone coverage, C tackle, lacks discipline. Pretty good athlete, not amazing, not horrible. A man coverage is also interesting. A man zone for a linebacker. That is interesting. A to C hit power, A to C finesse moves, A to C play rec, A to C impact blocking, and stamina. He seems like he could be a pretty good player overall. Now, Michael Barber out of South Florida or USF shows good discipline. A to C zone, B tackle, C pursuit. Overall, a pretty good athlete. Pretty good cover guy as well. B to D man, A to C zone, B tackle, A hit power is also interesting. C finesse moves. I mean, he's a middle linebacker, so not going to be rushing with him a ton. But A to C play rec as well. Seems like he could be okay down the board. And Ryan Strickland out of Minnesota is the final middle linebacker, as he's a field general, 6'1", 245 in Minnesota. D tackle, already not very not great. Not a good athlete. He's definitely seems like the worst of all the linebackers. Not a great cover guy either. Doesn't seem amazing. I'd say Michael Barber or Joe Sweet is probably the best one at middle linebacker for us. I mean, you might have somebody up at the top like Daniel McBride, who's the best in the draft, but not necessarily for us. And now, Taylor Alfredo out of Alabama, the top player in the class right now. He is a speed rusher out of Alabama. So now, he is A pursuit, C tackle, C to F zone, C block shedding. He is a good athlete, very good athlete. Skill-wise, BD finesse moves, A to C power moves, BD hit power, A to C A pursuit, A to C impact blocking, A to C catching. He seems overall pretty good. But now, I don't know what we're going to do at outside linebacker, because I'll get back to that in a second. But you look at our team right now. Let me just get to our team manage roster. Here we go. You look at our defense, and with linebacker, you have Lorenzo Carter. He's going to leave in free agency. We're not interested in bringing him back at all. Then you've got with D'Angelo Malone. He's an interesting player. So now, he is 6'3", 243, 23 years old out of Western Kentucky. Now, didn't see a ton of playing time for us, but he's definitely got some potential. As, I mean, he's not amazing right now. He's 70 overall. They're playing up, technically 69 overall. But he's got 74 finesse moves, 63 power moves, good speed and acceleration as well. He might be the future of the right outside linebacker position, with Arnold Ebiketie, the other rookie, being the other, as Ebiketie star development. And now, obviously, we could definitely use some depth, especially if Lorenzo Carter leaves, but I mean, we'll probably just look for that via free agency. And going back to what I was talking about with defensive tackle before, I mean, Marlon Davidson at left end isn't great, but I mean, he's got star development, he's got potential. And then Contavious Street, Anthony Rush, not great guys to have at the defensive tackle position. We could definitely upgrade there. And then, strong safety, we have Jalen Hawkins behind Dean Marlowe. Didn't see a ton of playing time this season, but he's 25 years old. He's definitely got some potential. He might end up being our strong safety if we don't take someone like Cedric Purnell or, forgetting the other guy, Tyrell Simpson. But Dean Marlowe, we're definitely not going to bring back. And then corner, well, first off, free safety, Richie Grant, we're set there. He's got star development, got him up there. He was really good for us this season, one of our better defensive players. And then corners, obviously, we've got our stud corner, AJ Terrell. We've got Casey Hayward, who is getting older. He is 32 years of age, so definitely on the older side, going to start regressing soon. And then behind that, you've got Isaiah Oliver, who I really like. He's our slot corner right now. But then you've got Mike Ford, and then Mike Ford is also going to leave in free agency. So I would like to go after a corner. So we're going to go back to the scouting and take a look at some corners, because we already know about some safety targets we might take a look at. So corner, we have a few guys around 1 to 2. Ibrahim Weston, the only guy around 1 out of UConn. B press, C to D zone, C man, C catching. Shows good discipline. I mean, those stats, attributes, ratings, whatever you want to call them, they don't necessarily seem amazing. Like, he would be a round 1 corner. Good athlete, not horrible, not great. But, I mean, he just doesn't seem amazing. A to B hit power is interesting. He doesn't seem amazing. I don't know. I don't know if that's just me or if you guys agree, but he doesn't seem amazing. Joe Polk, Out of Ohio State, he is also not amazing. B catching, C man, B press, C zone. Not the greatest athlete for the corner position, okay. He's 75% scouted. B tackle, A to B hit power, A to B block shedding, B catching. Not necessarily amazing. Obviously, you'd like someone really good. Maybe DeAndre Seawright's that guy. He's more of a slot guy. We've got that set with Isaiah Oliver, but I mean, obviously you could use depth. He's not really that good. D-man and zone. Already not looking too great. Not a good athlete. I'm just not interested in him anymore. And then a slot guy, we don't really need him. Raheem Gant out of Ohio State, 5'11", 199. Let's take a look at him. D-zone, C-man. Doesn't really seem like a great corner class. He also not a great athlete. I don't know. These guys just don't seem amazing to me. Chris Armstead out of Georgia, 6 foot 203. B to D zone D man. Again, not amazing so far. Not very good athlete aside from speed wise, but these guys just don't seem amazing. And now showing you guys the latest mock draft. Obviously, mock draft 3 is the latest. No, only mock draft 2. But Jeremiah Morrison, I'm not really even that interested in. Because you take a look at him, lacks discipline. Not amazing. I think he's one of the worst left tackles in the class. But we have 3 first-round picks. Obviously, we're going to have the first overall pick. And then this isn't going to be updated. But we've also got I believe it's the Titans pick and the Cardinals pick. Let me just check real quick. Yeah, we've got the Titans pick and the Cardinals pick. Titans pick projected to be 15. Cardinals projected to be 32, so they're projected to win the Super Bowl. We've also got a second round, a third round, a fourth, and a seventh. So not necessarily a ton of late round capital, but we can definitely make some trades. And now, free agents. Obviously, we don't know all the upcoming free agents, but now what I'm saying about a player with great speed at wide receiver, maybe we find that via free agency. Looking for someone with elite speed, and maybe Marquise Goodwin is that. He's older, though, so not necessarily sure that's amazing. I'd like really, really good speed, like 95 plus. Tavon Austin, again, older. I'd like someone younger as well. Like 24, 25, like Denzel Mims, but really, really fast. So, like a Marquise Goodwin, 96 speed, 96 acceleration. Obviously, not Deshaun Jackson. Jalen Guyton is interesting at 93 speed and 26 years old, but not amazing. But also, now, my question for you guys is, what should we do with the number 1 overall pick? So, obviously, we'll see the mock drafts come out later in free agency, which will be in the offseason. This is not the offseason video. This is just like a preview. But when you look at the college prospects, Will Donaldson isn't until number 6. So, maybe we could trade down. Who really knows? But I just want to make sure we don't miss out on anyone. So, Sean Edmonds also the 8th prospect, so we might have to trade down and trade up. I'm not sure. But, those are the 2 guys I really want. Now, I want to know your feedback. What should we do with the number 1 overall pick? So, I'm considering trading it, maybe moving down a little bit to, like, number... I don't know. We'll have to see the mock drafts where it's projected to go. But I'm not sure we're going to go with one of these edge rushers at the top, because, as I said, we do have D'Angelo Malone. I don't know how good he's going to be. Obviously, we do have to check the free agent class first as well. But I want to know your thoughts in the comments. So please let me know. What should we do? What should we do with the first overall pick? So, Will Donaldson, Sean Edmonds, I definitely think we're going to end up taking. Other guys, we might, like Tyrell Simpson, we might end up taking. Maybe we'll take another offensive lineman in the first round. I really don't know. So, I want you guys to put yourself as the general manager in my shoes and think, what would you guys do if you were me? So, I'd love to hear your feedback. But, also, I have another question for you guys. So, tell me that in the comments right now. And then, would you guys prefer the off-season to be a live stream where you guys can be watching live. I'll be talking to you guys, making the decisions, and you guys can have input live. And, like, you guys can be commenting, stuff like that. Or would you prefer it just to be a normal video like this? And you guys just tell me your feedback on this video. So, let me know that in the comments below. But, that's going to do it for this draft preview. Thank you guys for watching. Oh, and just so you guys know, if it would be a live stream, it would be this coming Saturday, November 19th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So, let me know your thoughts. Thank you guys for watching this draft and off-season preview video. A lot of draft stuff because we don't know the free agents yet. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like this video, subscribe, turn on notifications so you don't miss the off-season, which I have a feeling will be a lot of fun. But thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, turn on notifications so you don't miss any of their upcoming videos. Check out my main channel, Super Sports Central, link in the description of this video, and I will see you in the next video.